We looked at governance in its widest sense from our back catalogue. But actually, we found that a lot of the lessons that came out of that were quite generic. Governance can sometimes be all-encompassing. It's pretty much everything you do. So we narrowed it down and we only looked at the very largest, most difficult projects. So I suppose the question is, what is a mega project? Now, Giuliano's done some work with colleagues on mega projects. There's no accepted definition in the UK of what a mega project is in terms of from the Treasury or from, as was IPA. So we looked across our work and we found a set of factors. Now, major projects will probably fit into some of these, but mega projects will have probably most or all of these factors as part of what they're doing. So the first one was that kind of strategic importance. It's going to be strategically important to the economy and to wider society. These sorts of projects have the potential to be absolutely transformational for a government trying to achieve its missions and goals, which brings sets of challenges, as you can imagine. Novelty, mega projects are more likely to be at the cutting edge of innovation, things that haven't been done before, things that haven't been done in this way before. Sometimes innovative and large-scale projects are needed to kind of generate that transformational change. Cross-cutting benefits and impacts. Often mega projects are not just contained in one department or one sector. Actually, the purpose of doing them stretches across lots of different environments, lots of different places. Again, adding to that complexity. They have a high level of kind of integral complexity. They might require, for example, primary legislation or planning consents or complex designs or discovery, lots of stakeholder engagement. They are inherently complex things. There's a combination of high cost, risk and uncertainty. I don't think the mega projects are necessarily the most expensive projects, but they are, generally speaking, high cost, not just in pounds and pence, but in time and resource and energy and effort. So what we did then was we looked at our reports and we thought about why these projects don't kind of fit into standard models of governance. And the sorts of risks, the kind of issues we identified. So we all know the standard model where the Treasury allocates funding to departments. Departments basically produce the business case, deliver the project, responsible for achieving the benefits, accountable for the project's performance. Even if a delivery authority is involved, it's usually a department who leads. This has particular issues for mega projects. So establishing that purpose, as Richard was talking about at the start, what is the purpose of these sorts of projects? And how can you get agreement across lots of different stakeholders, from departments to the funding organisation, brackets the Treasury, actual agreement on the purpose for this project? We often see difficulties around scope and purpose on major projects, but in these sorts of projects, I think it's even harder, partly because you've got to establish that all across government as well. These projects are likely to touch more than one department, so you're not just dealing with your own department, you've got to deal with other departments. You've got tensions with the Treasury, which you'd expect to have some tension, but really, is everyone working towards that common purpose? How do you establish that? We noticed problems around how governance and decision-making works in that complex environment. So it can require multiple departments, different tiers of governments, other organisations to be involved. There's a neat example of East-West Rail, which I'd argue about some of these things is a mega project because it is about delivering transformational benefit to that Oxford to Cambridge arc of the country. But it requires lots of different people to work together. It requires, at the moment, a railway to be built. It requires MHCLG to be working about what does that look like as a region, to local authorities, to businesses, all of these different things. Kind of interesting to think, if your primary purpose was to change that area and really drive growth, would you put DfT in charge of it? Or would you put MHCLG in charge of it and get DfT, subcontract out to DfT to deliver East-West Rail? But the way that governance works at the moment doesn't allow for those sorts of things to happen. And well not managed, this complexity causes real difficulties for mega projects. They take so long and they're resource greedy as well. So you just get this complexity around them, like decisions not being made in a timely manner, for example.